Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Clearly Ambiguous. My apologies for not making any of these videos for a long time, but then again, I'm back, and the reason I'm back is what happened in Venezuela recently. And we had to speak about the most ambiguous personality out there, that is the President of the United States, Donald Trump, right? So he today has, after what the United States has done in Venezuela, he has effectively declared himself as the acting president of Venezuela, which is the fact that, you know, Venezuelans still have a president even after their president, President Maduro, was captured by the United States in a military action, right? In a bloody military action, actually, because there were a lot of deaths that happened on ground. So it was not as surgical as they would like to claim it is. It was basically a reckless operation where, yes, of course, they overpowered any resistance that they received, and they got the president and the Venezuelan president and his wife to New York. Now, why? To face justice, because it's only United States of America who can deliver justice, because they are the protectors of justice and they have to save the world against narco terror. Then they have a war on terror, and even if the aliens attack, right? But why are we surprised, right? I did some research, and here is a list of all the wars that the United States has been part of or has started since its inception. So if there is any country in this world which has a stomach to go to war, is actually United States of America. There's not even a single decade that they have not been in a war, which probably they have started on pretenses about securing their borders. Once they secured their borders, they have pretty much been expansionist as any imperial power, right? So if you look at the history of United States of America and their wars of their imperial wars, it makes you look at Russia and China in a very good light. They would look like saints. Well, they have done their bit as well, but then again, well, United States of America has been at war since the time of its creation. Now, the one thing that President Trump does differently from all the other that came before him is that he unapologetically accepts the fact that United States of America means war. That hence he even changed the name of his Department of Defense to Department of War. Wow. And if that was not giving signals to anybody in the world, look at what he has done, right? He claims to have achieved peace and stopped about 8.5 wars. At the same point of time, he has started a couple of them, right? Because, of course, this is the new decade, and in this decade, there has not been a new war that the American president has started, so they have to, you know. And actually, if you look at it, the only way United States can declare war is by going through its Congress. And the only time Congress has declared war is about 5 times in their entire history. And yet they've been always at war since the time of their inception. The only difference now is that President Trump says it unapologetically. So instead of him being ambiguous, he's actually very clear. If he says he'll do it, he'll probably do it. And that's the reason why he's saying that now he'll probably go against Greenland. And if you look at it, that the ones that will suffer the most now is people who are the so-called allies of United States of America since Second World War. The Europeans, the Japanese, who have been guaranteed given security guarantees in the form of one military alliance or the other. While United States has been becoming stronger militarily, all these other nations, and even for the entire continent of Europe, Western Europe, has been just dependent, being lazy, right? So he knows for a fact that if he goes against Greenland right now, what are these guys going to do? They threaten to put troops on the ground, this, that, and the other, but do they even have stomach for the amount of war that the United States can wage? Right? So while everybody might think that President Trump is a bull in the China shop, but nobody actually wants to, basically bell the cat. And where does that leave us? Because until very recently, we were thinking that the Americans are friends. And now, if you look at it, they say whatever they choose to. And there are people here as well who would want us to explain why President Trump is behaving so erratically. There is nothing to explain. He is an erratic man. And that's what he does. He treats the entire global diplomacy like basically, a real estate agent, a property dealer, so to speak. In our part of the world, we call them property dealers, right? So that's what he's doing. He needs real estate. He just goes ahead and grabs it. And who helps him do it? Well, the United States military. And of course, United States has to do it because after their shameful exit out of Afghanistan, right, and other wars in the Middle East, they have to now, like if you see their propaganda machine has already started spinning that they use some amazingly, advanced weapons which overwhelmed. So decide whether you had credible opposition from Venezuela or whether it was your weapons whatever. So anyways, what it means for the rest of the world now is that nothing's changed. This is what United States does. And while United States keeps criticizing the Russian war machine, the American war machine goes merrily on. What are the Chinese going to do? Well, what are the Chinese going to do? Right? Because Chinese are in a funny situation right now that no matter them being the manufacturing giants in the world, they still need markets to sell their products, right? Because China does not manufacture for its own markets. It manufactures for everybody else. So what is China going to do? Nothing much. Would Russia like to do something about it? Well, Russia might justify, which President Putin has already stated, would like to escalate what Russia has been doing in Ukraine. And where is President Zelensky for some time now? We haven't seen him for some time, right? And that war was supposed to be stopped within 24 hours of President Trump coming into office. What has happened? I think he's forgotten about that one. So, is it going to? Yes, of course, it is going to impact. It's not going to be business as usual, but with Americans, it is never business as usual. It will definitely impact our economy. And probably that's the kick that we need in our backside to galvanize our manufacturing and galvanize our economy and probably spend on our defense budget a little more so that probably if the big bad bully does come to our doorstep, it does not act against us because it thinks that, they would probably lose far more than they'll gain from getting into a conflict with us. As for what the Americans plan to do with Venezuela, well, according to them, the president of Venezuela is a narco-terrorist. And if you look at the speech, if you heard the speech that President Trump gave after the said military action, it was all about oil. The number of times the word narco or drug was used and the number of times the word oil was used in that speech will obviously tell you that if you have oil, they will come for you sooner or later. Right? So, anyways, now that President Trump has all the oil, he would probably want to use the oil for himself because obviously the war machine has to go on and he would like to control the oil prices and probably want to sell us Venezuelan oil because he does not want us to buy Russian oil because then he'll tariff us 500%. Who is going to pay for those tariffs? I don't think so. He's still clear about it. Well, actually, nobody else is. And he seems to keep getting inspired from a little bit of nuggets that he gets from history. Like, I was looking into it. There was the 25th president, William McKinley, right? So recently President Trump has said that he was a great businessman and he was a tariff king, right? And that seems to be his inspiration of doing this entire thing of tariffs. So anyways, what has happened in Venezuela, everybody is debating about the fact that, whether it was right or wrong, whether it was legal or illegal, but nobody seems to be doing anything about it. What are the Venezuelans doing about it? Well, that we will see after a point of time, because what will be sold to us is the fact that, as America does every time, is that they are going to bring that Western American lifestyle to you, and that's the reason why they have to drop bombs on you, and that's the game that they play. That's the best expression I can give about this situation, because this is exactly what the world is doing right now, isn't it? So anyways, all that I can say in the end is that I hope that there are no more conflicts that the United States would like to either indulge in, but if they do, they would probably take us to a brink of something which might have far more disastrous repercussions for all of us. And let's hope that he's satisfied with Venezuela for now, which seems highly unlikely by what he's been saying on Greenland. But let's hope that the Europeans are able to do whatever they can do to control the man. Until we hear something new, all I can say is thanks for watching. Keep watching. Until next time, good night.